we start this grand tour in the capital of the United States of America, Washington DC. Some terrific aerial shots show the grandeur of the President's estate, the White House. The Washington Monument is the world's largest stone structure and the world's largest obelisk, commemorating the first President of the US, George Washington. The Lincoln Memorial across the reflecting pool is dedicated to Abraham Lincoln, to honor his role in ending slavery in the United States. From the capital we take the train south to another location filled with history. We arrive in New Orleans, a bustling up and delta of the Mississippi River, connected by rail and waterways to the rest of the nation. Right here we see Jackson Square, the historic heart of the French Quarter. Here remnants of a long-gone era of colonialism are still visible on every street corner. While New Orleans may be renowned for its historic French and Spanish colonial architecture, Canal Street hosts the most modern department stores in all of the southern states. Right now we are departing from New Orleans by ship. As we travel along the mighty Mississippi River, we come across historic plantation houses like the Oak Alley Plantation, reminders of how divided the United States was during the Civil War. In the Mississippi Delta of Louisiana, people settled to make a living out of fishing, many of which still live like the olden days. As we travel west, we meet a cowboy on his ranch in Texas. He earns his living by keeping cattle, a stark contrast to modern city life. To travel north, we take the train to Denver, Colorado. This magnificent Union Pacific streamliner travels at a speed of 110 miles an hour along the eastern edges of the Rocky Mountains. Arriving at Denver, we find Wall Street of the West in downtown with many grand buildings like the Equitable Building and the Daniels and Fisher Tower. As the night falls, we make our way to Union Station. Here we take a streamliner from the Burlington Route Railroad. From Denver we travel back to the East Coast to New York City. The Big Apple, with its monumental skyline, will however not be a point of interest for our travel, as we stay for a short moment of time only. With the French Ocean Line in Normandy we cross the Atlantic, a trip lasting 4 days. This Art Deco steamship is not only a piece of art, but also the fastest ocean liner afloat. As the ship leaves New York Harbor we see the Statue of Liberty on our right. A final glimpse of the United States before we enter the open sea. After 4 days we arrive in Le Havre, one of France's most important seaports. From here we will go to Paris by train. The city we all know and love, the City of Light, still holds up with its uniform architecture and stunning landmarks. Soon this will be the location for yet another World's Fair. Continuing our path south we are greeted by picturesque villages and chateaux along the Loire Valley. We travel further southeast to Italy. Hidden in the Alps you find a luxurious villa, Villa del Balbiano, which stood here for centuries. Eventually we reach Venice. the romantic city built on water. Here we see the Piazza San Marco with its famous campanile. Back in the Republic days, this palace was the residence of the Doge of Venice, the head of the former Republic of Venice. Across the Guidecca Canal, we see the Basilica of the Santa Maria della Salute. After our stop in Venice, we stay in Rome. Everywhere, traces of the Roman Empire can be found. The city, with its rich history and charming alleyways, surrounds the Vatican, the smallest country with the largest cathedral, St. Peter's Basilica. From Italy we traveled to the north of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, where we found ourselves in a little city called Ljubljana. This colorful city was built along the Ljubljana River. After an earthquake in 1895, much of the city was rebuilt in the Vienna Secession style. Yet also much of the earlier Baroque areas of town remain. Afterwards we traveled to a more remote area. We end up in Stay, in the Carpathian Mountains of Transylvania, an old citadel town which has outgrown its defending walls. After decades of neglect, Stay was restored to its former glory by private investors. Still, there's much to do, especially after the recent storm which hit the town hard. It's also famous for its Baroque monastery. We leave Romania per air, as we fly with the Royal Dutch Airlines to Amsterdam. Here we see the Royal Palace at the Dam Square. Right behind we find the main post office. Both architectural masterpieces from vastly different eras. Of course we cannot go to Amsterdam without seeing the famous canal houses. Another popular place in the city is the Bijenkorf department store, here seen at night. From Rotterdam we go per ocean liner east. A long journey awaits, although in luxury and comfort, unlike the Dutch traders which ruled the seas in the 17th century. After sailing around Western Europe, we sail past Barcelona, the last European port before we sail through the Suez Canal to Southeast Asia. We arrive in Batavia, the capital of the Dutch East Indies. From here we will travel to the port of Saigon. The capital of Indochine is a sight to behold, with grand buildings like the city hall and broad avenues. Up front the monumental central station appears. A popular place for locals is the big market hall in the heart of the city. For upper class entertainment the city offers the Saigon Opera House, modeled after the Petit Palais in Paris. Besides its modern center, there's also the imperial city in traditional style, which has been the home of the emperor for centuries. A couple miles from the capital we find the Thrinn Lord's Palace, another prime example of traditional Vietnamese architecture. While flying over you can perfectly see its layout. The last foreign nation on our trip is the land of the rising sun, Japan. We arrive in its capital, Tokyo, where architecture of the past pairs with modernity. More than 400 miles south lies Imberi Castle, a relic from the Japanese Edo period. After this long trip we board an ocean liner in Yokohama harbor to cross the Pacific. With a planned stop at Honolulu, we will reach the United States in 2 weeks. Finally, we arrive at San Francisco at Pier 9. We are back home on well-known soil.